Magical Girl Raising Project is a light novel series made by Asari Endo. Started in 2012, the series is still going on today with 13 books published. It is a dark fantasy where the first book alone follows the story of 16 magical girls who, due to otherworldly beings, end up in a game of life and death, as the magical maidens start killing each other to avoid losing their powers along with their lives. And in 2016, an anime was made adapting the story of the first book. The anime is going to be our focus for today, and specifically, I want to rank the character designs from worst to best. The characters were given chibi designs that are featured in the light novel, allowing readers to have a clear visual to accompany the writing, and these designs were adapted pretty faithfully for the anime version, which is nice, as the looks feel very accurate to the intended characterization. However, this means that the looks weren't really made with animation in mind, meaning being so detailed probably made an impact on the animation. And it's no secret that fights can look clunky, and overall there isn't too much movement when there doesn't have to be. Despite that limitation though, the characters look great and the anime is enjoyable despite its less than perfect visuals. If Magical Girl Raising Project sounds like fun to you, I suggest you jump out to watch it now, as spoilers will be present throughout the rest of the video. You've been warned. Now then, one of the most exciting parts of Magical Girl Raising Project is how the characters obtain their powers. They are chosen through a mobile game. The idea that it can turn people into a real magical girl is just a rumor, but ends up being true. This means that the characters actively got to design their magical transformations in-universe, which allows for a unique and very fun element to analyzing their designs. I've got three major factors going into my ranking system. The first is simply, how good is the design? Just looking at the character, how cohesive and appealing is each given ensemble. Second, does the design facilitate the character's ability? Each girl has a magical gimmick she can perform. Does her design make sense for her magic and other fighting abilities? And finally, does it make sense why they were designed in-universe? Knowing that the cast were directly in charge of how their magical personas would look means that their design had better make sense based on the character. And with that, let's stop the preamble and get going, starting with the design I feel is the worst. Very sleepy, Namurin has the ability to enter people's dreams, and her look definitely fits that. With the nightgown, loose socks, and large pillow, her sleepy theme is immediately identifiable. Unfortunately, being the first of the 16 to be dropped from the game, we don't get much time to learn about Namurin or her life outside of being a magical girl. We really only know that she's a NEET, which does match her alter ego's dreaming theme, but feels like her character starts and ends with tired. What prompted Nemu to design her character in such a sleepy way? We don't really get to know, which is a bit of a shame. Beyond that, the thing that lands Namurin into last place for me is the overall design's quality. While I'd be hard-pressed to call any of the girls' looks bad, Namurin certainly feels the least well done. The clouds in her hair are a clustered distraction, covering her up and feeling really unnecessary, and the hair fading to pink again doesn't really help the design, just acting as another detail to add to an overall too simple look. The pattern on her nightgown is cute, but still refuses to stray from the "get it, she sleeps" theme. It was a shame to see Namurin go, but at least that left plenty of room for her better performing castmates.
やったやったありがとうマイフレンド心の友よ
Made up of the twins Minael and Uniel, the Peaky Angels are addressed together because really it's the same design. The twins were wholly made to be a set and so act as two halves of a whole ensemble. The angels already have a leg up on Namurin with the angel-appropriate, almost nun-inspired outfits. They not only fit their holy theme, but do so in a way that allows for more interesting silhouettes, beyond which the pair having only one wing each makes it clear that they are a set, and their halos being speech bubbles, leaning in on the two's constant jabbering and snarking. The Peaky Angels designs is telling us more about the characters than just a single gimmick. Unfortunately, the praise kinda has to stop there. Their abilities to turn into any living thing or any inanimate thing has nothing to do with their angel aesthetic, and we don't even get to know why the girls designed their avatars the way they did. Mina and Yuna are brats, and that's kind of it. The angel theme seems to have just been chosen to allow the girls to have one wing each, which is a cool design choice, but a characterless one. Vice Winter Prison is on a team with her partner, Sister Nana. She has the magical ability to create walls, And that's kinda where her character ends. Basically, all of Winter Prison's backstory is dedicated to showing us her relationship with Sister Nana, which was cute, but unfortunately gives us almost no information on what prompted Shizuku to design her avatar in this way. Beyond the scarf emulating the one Nana made for her, she seems to just be generic tough girl. She's got a long coat cause she's closed off. She is probably into Naruto? Nana describes her as a knight, but I guess Winter Prison didn't get that memo. I will say her closed-off look does help to hint at her wall-creating magic. Get it? She's putting up physical and emotional walls. But the buck unfortunately stops there, as I feel the design on its own isn't even that great. It's boring and generic, and what's with the blue belts? I will say that she looks best when paired with Sister Nana, but she just does not stand out enough on her own, despite the screen time allotted to the couple. The main deuteragonist of the show, Ripple, unfortunately seems to be a victim of marketing. Magical Girl Raising Project seemed to be leaning in on pulling in the Madoka Magica crowd early on, as that audience would be the most interested in this new IP. Madoka came out a year before Raising Project, and so, in order to reel in the Madoka fans, it seems Ripple was made to evoke Homura as much as possible, but ninja! A big draw for the first book of Raising Project was the fun variety of magical girls. A ninja, a cowgirl, a nun? What a fun collection of distinct archetypes! But for Ripple at least, the idea to have a ninja magical girl didn't really seem to coincide with the rest of the character, Kano. After her parents divorced and her mother remarried frequently, Kano was mocked often, usually being referred to as being a slut like her mom. One of her mother's new partners even is a giant gross pervert in regards to the girl. So why would she design her character in such an over-sexualized way? She even complains about it upon her first transformation. Despite her playing a big role in the story and a decently explored backstory, there is simply no reason given for her to make a magical girl persona look the way she did. And yeah, she didn't know she'd end up becoming a magical girl and donning the appearance of her in-game avatar, but it's just such a shame that window into her character isn't touched on, foregoing the characterization offered from it to instead boringly just make her the ninja. Despite this glaring issue, I must concede though that the design itself is pretty solid. A little over-designed, like how most Magical Girl Raising Project designs are. These puffballs, knee pads, and fishnet sleeves seem kinda unnecessary. But she's iconic and immediately identifiable. Despite being a generic big-tittied ninja girl, she manages to stand out from the crowd with her long side ponytail and unique lack of torso protection. The scarf at first felt superfluous, but I found that it made her combat very satisfying to watch, acting in tandem with her hair to give her clear, elegant movements. A good design with fitting magical ninja star accuracy, held back by a total disregard for characterization. The magical girl with the highest body count while only being 7 years old, Swim Swim, or Ayana, is by far the most interesting character to dissect in the show. She excellently plays the role of the main villain while managing to remain a surprise final encounter throughout the series, despite all the hints in her look that announce her status of final boss. The dead-inside eyes and bat wings seem to laugh in the face of everyone who got fooled into thinking she'd be a subordinate throughout the series. The subwoofer's sharp points seem designed to trap her prey like a vampire squid, all while having a masterful color palette, featuring white and black with a pop of quietly poisonous pink. Swim Swim's design is one of the main things that sticks with you after finishing the series. And managing to make her swimsuit almost like a dress keeps her from feeling too exposed during conversation, while still feeling appropriate to her magical ability to swim through any surface. She's a fascinating character and a masterfully executed twist villain, which unfortunately comes at the cost of Ayana being a bit of a mystery to the viewer. Beyond her age and a newfound obsession with leadership after speaking with Namurin early in the series, we don't know anything about our tiny murderer. Is she on the swim team? Why the bat wings? Why sneakers on a swimmer? I admit that the close to random attire of Swim Swim feels in line to how a 7-year-old makes their character.
This hair is pretty, this outfit looks cool, I like these shoes.
But simply due to the pacing of the story, we don't really get to know how Swim Swim's look got decided on. But that does not stop her from being iconic. It downright makes me wish she'd return for Raising Project's other books to let this great design live on.
落ちこぼれねえよ。俺たちも頑張んねえとな。
The other main offender of let's try to pull in the Madoka crowd, Top Speed is a super lovable and unfortunately tragic character. With the magical ability to fly on her broom, Rapid Swallow. Aight. Her magic and design go hand in hand. What's more iconic than a witch flying on a broom? Unfortunately, much like the majority of the magical girls so far, we're given no good reason for Tsubame to make her character look this way. Similar to Ripple, it feels like the decision of one will be a witch was made and then retroactively given to a character, as opposed to using her fairly well fleshed out backstory to facilitate her magical appearance. And with how often characters go out of their way to mention that one looks like a witch in the first episode, it feels like name dropping the big bads of Raising Project's biggest contemporary took priority.
でもやっぱりあの格好は魔法少女っていうより魔女だな。
Which is a shame, since Tsubame's history in a biker gang would make for just as interesting of a magical girl in my opinion. Though I can't deny that Top Speed using her broom as her magical motorcycle equivalent is pretty rad, despite its short amount of screen time. And quite frankly, Top Speed looks great. A bit of another generic design, just manages to make an impact with her extra large braids emulating the look of her broom's bristles, and the cat-like eyes works best on Top Speed out of the cast, hinting at a witch's usual companion. She's got smart use of color, and I'm loving the orange on the inside of her cape, making the primarily black outfit feel Halloween-tastic. The purple arm guard feels kinda tacked on, but overall I can't be too mad about Top Speed. She just looks so dang great.
今はシスターナナと呼んでください。です、ウィンタープリズン。
Sister Nana's nun shtick is immediately evident and utilized to a T, donned with nun robes that look anime enough to be interesting without being overtly sexualized. She's got crosses throughout the look, including her pupils, making her literally starry-eyed, and the theme follows through with her magic, allowing her to bless someone of her choosing with enhanced abilities. She even appears to pray when she does this. It's a great execution of her theme that's really only being held back by her out-of-nowhere red shoes. Perhaps the idea was to have them sort of match Winter Prison's hair. They definitely work better in the chibi style originally found in the books, but for the full-sized look of the anime, they just stick out like weird thumbs, and I just wish they were the same dark blue as the rest of her outfit. However, as is a running theme with the lower half of this list, the nun gimmick seems to have been simply placed onto a character. Nana doesn't seem particularly religious in her casual life. In fact, the fanbook lists her faith as incredibly low. Perhaps she just liked the aesthetic? It's not too much of a reach to assume Nana would want to be a healer type, as she spends the majority of her screen time trying to interact peacefully with the others, and is very open to helping her fellow magical girls. Despite not being character-driven, the nun theme fits her character, so at least in that regard, her design excels.
何か勘違いしてませんか？人知を超えた力を持つ者同士が戦うのですよ。
Cranberry is unique amongst the girls for a number of reasons, the primary one being the fact that she's not from here. She'd become a magical girl long ago and had spent years as a magical girl, playing twisted games in hopes of having fun killing strong fighters. At one point she was human, but it's not clear she even remembers what her name used to be, which is a bit of a shame since that means we don't get to know why she chose the musical elf idea. But Cranberry somehow ends up feeling otherworldly, even when compared to the sheer variety of designs on display. Her look features unique elements that no one else has, most notably the elf ears. The other way Cranberry is unique is that she's the only one who really sees a change in design between mediums. While some other girls have slight alterations between the chibi art and the show, usually just small tweaks to color, Cranberry got a fair amount of altering for the anime. Her color palette overall becomes more green, her shoes completely change, she loses the large rose accessories on her back, the roses in her crown become two-toned, and the vines on her leggings become just a pattern. I'm sure all of this was done to make animating her actually feasible, it's a pretty complex design. Personally, I like the chibi version more, as the less vibrant colors on her hint at her nefarious ways, like dead leaves. The shoes look more fantastical, and the large roses feel beautifully dangerous, exactly what the characterization for her was striving for. That being said, the anime version still works very well, perfectly matching her forest theme and the vine pattern on her legs implying her dangerous nature, and the two-toned roses feel like giant warning signs. Those look poisonous, she's probably bad news. Her outfit sort of looks like a maestro's uniform, which fits her musical theme, but the primary goal definitely seemed to be leaning into the forest but secretly evil aesthetic, and they nailed it.
リップルだったっけ？
Acting as one of the main antagonists of the show, Calamity Mary's design is cute enough, with consistent colors and a fun silhouette created by her sleeves, but unfortunately doesn't really manage to veer out of generic sexy cowgirl. It's doing that theme well, but just not particularly uniquely, and her magic ability to enhance whatever weapon she wields doesn't really have anything to do with her cowgirl look. Quite frankly, it fits Naoko's abusive tendencies more than Calamity Mary's persona. The specifics on Naoko making her design is a bit questionable. It's clear that she set out to design herself as a cute, magical cowgirl, complete with similar hair and accurate birthmark. The question comes from, why cowgirl specifically? With her knowledge of firearms and tendency to drink too much, I guess it's not out of the question to assume Naoko just likes the aesthetic of the lawless Wild West. With a good enough, if a bit uninspired look, character but not technically theme-appropriate magic, and just enough explanation for the character creation, Calamity Mary does everything well enough, but nothing spectacularly. I do like Calamity Mary's design, but perhaps the thing that keeps her from going much higher in this list is the fact that she feels like we missed out on a much more interesting idea. Naoko is a closet magical girl otaku, still carrying around a toy mirror and emulating the classic transformation of old-school anime of the genre. I can't help but wish she'd taken on the aesthetic of the classic magical girl shows she's a fan of. It'd be quite striking to see a traditional magical girl drunkenly sniping pedestrians, as Calamity Mary's cowgirl look is just a bit too on the nose, in my opinion.
だからこそやりやすい。だからこそ決まったの。
Ruler's design perfectly makes it clear what her deal is. I'm in charge. The princely ruffled shirt, cravat, and leggings, coupled with the too big cape, exemplifies Ruler's intended place in a position of power, while also hinting at how she's in over her head. Despite Sanai, this is the name I'm most likely gonna get wrong, gonna let you know. Despite Sanai being one of the older women partaking in Fav's game, Ruler looks young, shorter than most of her subordinates, and with oversized accessories. Ruler's look reveals how much Sanai is moreover playing leader rather than properly leading her team. The royalty theme is uniquely displayed, making her not just be a generic princess, while also letting the viewer be in on hidden characterization. Her design and her magic seem to have been created in tandem, giving her the ability to control others, offering the young ruler the ability to force people to follow her command. And yet even then her magic has a laundry list of limitations, furthering the idea that her royalty is all show and no substance. Sanai's motivation around her avatar's look is a bit nebulous. We know that she certainly looks down on many of her co-workers and superiors. Going out of her way to design her character as the de facto ruler fits in line with her characterization perfectly. But rather, it's the nuance of why she opted for her magical persona to look so young and so not similar to herself that is a bit of a question mark. But really, that's me definitely overthinking things. Ruler may have been a very unlikable character, but her design is perfect characterization. Tama looks kind of stupid. With the goofy hood and big dumb paw gloves, Tama's outfit feels the most like a costume. And it's perfect. Tama is the butt of the joke, a screw-up, seen as incompetent. She's supposed to feel kinda stupid. It's impossible to take her seriously, which makes her one very badass moment all the more surprising to the characters and the audience. Beyond that, despite the goofiness of her look, it's actually really good. A unique take on the dog girl look with a fun silhouette and excellent use of color and pattern. Tama's design rivals Swims in terms of memorability, and it plays into her magic super well. She's able to make holes which not only fits her dog theme, but also it matches the spotted pattern in her leggings. Tama's design, character, and abilities all go hand in hand beautifully. The only downside is it's not really explained why she went with a dog look. She doesn't even seem to own a dog. Except, looking at the kanji that make up her name, they mean dog, bark, and cape, among other things. Knowing that, it's not difficult to assume Tama simply used her name as a basis for the design, especially since she doesn't seem to have any outstanding interests. A smart design all the way around. I love Tama's look.
この程度なら最初の予定通りあなたもやっちゃいましょう
Magicaloid is so dang adorable. With the big, clunky legs and arms, the cute school uniform, fun and unique, Hair? We'll call it hair. Magicaloid manages to stand out as one of the more eye-catching looks in the show. She feels pulled straight out of an old-school sci-fi anime, featuring a silhouette akin to the likes of Mega Man, but with the pink LEDs to bring her into the modern day. And what's amazing is the analytical vibe of the robot perfectly fits Makoto's standoffish, con artist demeanor. And that's amazing because Makoto didn't design her magical girl look. She was level grinding for her sister's game in trade for a place to stay, and got pulled in that way. Her sister just happening to be dating a boy who likes robots accidentally made a super fitting look for the girl. And what's great is that Magicaloid manages to feel really unique despite basically just being a Doraemon reference. With a similar backstory and a magical ability that's just a copy of Doraemon's 4D Pocket, Magicaloid had no reason to have a design this well thought out. Despite having a pretty small amount of screen time, Magicaloid 44 is one of the things that makes Magical Girl Raising Project stand out from the crowd. Acting as our protagonist for the series, Snow White is the most typically designed magical girl of the group, featuring elements that can be found within many other contemporary magical girls' designs. And that's really smart. As our main character, it's good to have her clearly be a magical girl in a setting where magical girl is more of a title that can be placed onto any given look. And it's even better because we're given the perfect explanation for this. Koyuki is a fan of magical girls. Her love for the genre prompts many of the decisions that kickstarts her into the plot, and giving her this trait acts as the greatest excuse to have her be the only one of the cast that doesn't fit into any other generic archetype. It's really smart. And I also really like that she actually designed her avatar to look like her, meaning whether or not she's transformed, it always feels like Snow White. And it's impressive that, despite taking heavy inspiration from other Magical Girl series, Snow White manages to stand out on her own. One doesn't mistake Snow White for any other Magical Girl. Even though she was made with Universal Magical Girl in mind, she's still amazingly iconic, which is even more impressive once you pay attention and realize Snow White suffers from the same problem most of the girls in Raising Project do. She's a bit over-designed. There's a lot of different colors on her, and a lot of little details to keep track of. Despite being iconic, it's not particularly cohesive, which is a shame. Though one detail about her that I do appreciate is how the flowers around her ears emphasizes her magical ability to hear people's thoughts when in danger. She's got a clear flower motif, and using them to showcase her magic is a nice touch. One of the smartest looks in the show, unfortunately held back by an unfocused outfit.
やっぱりチャットと同じ格好なんだ。
La Pucelle is unique in that she's actually the only boy of the group, Koyuki's childhood friend who's secretly a magical girl weeb, Sota. I love this because it makes La Pucelle's design make so much sense. Of course a 14-year-old boy would design his character with giant boobs and barely any clothes. She looks like she was made with fan service in mind, and that's the point! And on top of that, La Pucelle's look is spot on with great use of color and clear silhouette. Everything matches perfectly in her look, even the dragon tail, horns, and eyes. Sota's night theme blends perfectly with the dragon aesthetic, making La Pucelle the most unique iteration of Lady Night I've ever seen. And on top of that, La Pucelle is French for the maid, which the frilly shirt manages to convey even with the clear knight armor, but moreover, the maid was a nickname attributed to Joan of Arc, because anime loves Joan of Arc. While the influence may not be quite as clear as other iterations of the saint, you can still see it come across with La Pucelle's hairstyle. With all this knights and chivalry stuff clearly on display with La Pucelle, it should be no surprise to learn that her magic also perfectly fits the theme. She can make her sword any size as long as it's within eyesight of her. The Maid Dragon Knight of France gets an ability that matches her aesthetic effortlessly. While I was rewatching Magical Girl Raising Project to make this video, I was certain La Pucelle would be number 1, and she almost was. She absolutely deserves to be at the top of anyone's list. It's a smart design that looks great to boot. A dark gothic Lolita variant of the classic Alice in Wonderland look, Hardcore Alice is immediately striking. With heavy eye bags and simple color palette accentuating the only color on her eyes, it's hard to look away from Hardcore Alice. The outfit is on point, and the use of accessories doesn't feel too busy. It's one of the few looks in the show that doesn't feel over-designed. She's got a clear silhouette and a clear theme. There's no way around it. This is a good design. And it all works with her character too. It's hard to miss her stuffed bunny looking not dissimilar to her hero, Snow White. Alice gets her white rabbit, while also referencing the reason Akko wanted to become a magical girl in the first place. And the creepy, undead look she has fits her magic so perfectly. She can regenerate. Of course she looks undead, she basically is. And not only that, it fits her character too. Akko's father killed her mother, and she's been ostracized in school because of that. Akko is unfortunately used to the idea of death, and has gotten good at healing herself from the ridicule of others. Now, for a long time during my rewatch, the biggest thing holding up Hardcore Alice's design for me was a lack of reasoning behind it. It felt like she'd follow the likes of Ripple or Topspeed, simply being a token archetype without considering the character. But then, in-universe, her overtly dark theme gets explained, and it's just as smart as Snow White's design. Akko downloaded the game and frantically played it in hopes that the rumors would be true, that she could become a magical girl and get to meet the one who had helped her earlier. With that in mind, she went out of her way to make her character look good in a pair with Snow White. And I must say, she did a great job. Hardcore Alice is an amazing design that perfectly weaves the abilities of the character with her characterization. She is the example I wish other important members of the cast had followed suit of. There's no way around it. Hardcore Alice is the best character design in Magical Girl Raising Project. And there we have it, my ranking list for Magical Girl Raising Project's designs. Of course, this is just my opinion, and with 15 excellent designs to pick from, I wouldn't be surprised if your list would be different from mine, so please don't be afraid to share who you think looks best and why. Honestly, like I mentioned earlier, I think all of the girls look pretty great in this series. Making this list was fun because even the lowest on here weren't really duds. They're all winners in their own right. There may only be one season of the anime, but the books are extensive with loads more characters. Most of the books are available in English too, meaning if you liked the anime, there's a whole bunch more of the series that you can interact with. But even if you aren't interested in reading the books, I do suggest giving Magical Girl Raising Project a watch. The fights are definitely a bit too ambitious for their budget, but it's a good series that keeps you invested without resorting to cheap tricks. It's a gripping story that's difficult to predict with enjoyable characters. Even if you've allowed yourself to be spoiled by watching this video, I still implore you to give Magical Girl Raising Project a try. Hey, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to my patrons. You're all super amazing, and I appreciate every single one of you. You all deserve nice things, and even if you're not a patron and you just subscribed, I really appreciate you too. Yeah, just wanted basically to jabberjaw during the credits of this video here, so that it's nominally interesting because I've suddenly gotten a lot more patrons, and now the silence for multiple minutes at the end of the video is a lot longer. and I'm new to this, so yeah. Thank you, patrons. You all rule. You're all too cool for school, but stay in school. Education's important. Oh, have a good one. Nailed it.